Hello and welcome to Striding Edge Games. I'm Boris.
And I'm Julian.
And we are here with our Weathertop hobby vlog thing. We thought we'd make a video about building Weathertop because it's really significant both in our Quest of the Ringbearer campaign, financially, and also just we love it. It's such a cool piece of terrain. It's a giant piece of terrain, and it's a really big milestone in sort of both our hobby collecting and the Quest sort of campaign.
Yeah.
The book story is a really significant part of. So we thought we'd sort of go through how we've built it, how we've painted it, what problems we ran into, and just what we think of it. Because a few of you have decided, well, a few of you have said that you would really be interested in hearing from us about that. So go through our thought process pre-buying Weathertop.
So yeah, I mean, obviously, for us, I mean, in the book and in the movie,
Yeah.
Weathertop is like a really significant moment where everything sort of changes. You know, it's like the danger
Yeah.
is really real for the first time Frodo gets stabbed.
First fight, basically.
Yeah, it's a really, and in the Quest of the Ringbearer campaign, it is the first sort of serious sort of dangery bit.
Yeah,
and
Breeze a bit.
yeah,
But Weathertop is the first where you're like, oh, okay.
and specifically in the scenario where the other scenarios are kind of on a normal 4x4 or even a 2x2, but they're on a board.
Yeah.
The Weathertop, I can't even remember what it's called. A Knife in the Dark?
No, it's just Weathertop.
Is it Weathertop?
Yep.
The mission is literally just in the ring of Amon Sûl.
Yes.
And, you know, for good or for worse, your terrain setup makes like a huge difference to how the mission plays.
Yep.
And, you know, we did various proxies where we just kind of used a bit of ruin or, you know, did some stuff. And we definitely felt like it would be really cool to have a proper sort of Weathertop of some form.
Yeah.
So we did a lot of sort of looking,
A lot of research.
a lot of research, planning. Obviously, the Forge World model existed.
Yep.
But you know, it's the price of maybe 1 or 2 Middle Earth armies for sure.
For sure. Yeah.
So it felt like a little bit of a luxurious item.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
it definitely is.
It definitely is. We're lucky enough to be able to afford it. And I think at the time of recording, I think it's gone from the web store. I think they've...
Yeah,
it's
well, and
gone
also
for a
it
bit.
went up as well. That was the other thing, is the resin prices jumped, and because it's a percentage base, it went up by quite a significant amount,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
£40 or something.
So you happened to be attending Warhammer World for an event.
Yeah.
I wasn't there, sadly, but you basically texted me halfway through day 2 or something, and they were like, I've been into the shop, and they have a Weathertop. And
Yeah.
we've basically been through about 3 or 4, 5, 6, 8, 10 months of...
We had a look at various different options. Obviously, there's some sort of third-party stuff out there of like sort of, I think Renadra or someone else makes a sort of Weathertop.
Yes.
But it's hard to obtain actually because I think it's out of print.
And there are...
And it's not right.
Yeah, and there are 3D print STLs out there.
There's a few STLs out there.
They're fine, but you either end up printing it on resin to be really detailed, and
Which
then
would
that's
be a
gonna take
nightmare.
you forever, or you print it on the other type of printer, the plastic FDM, which is fine. And we have some other terrain that is that printed FDM, but I'm never a fan of the layer lines, and we kind of
And particularly on this thing, because the top is ruined, the layer lines is something that I have a massive bugbear about. And on the top of stuff, because almost everyone prints it that way,
Yeah.
you end up with like contours essentially on your ruins, and it looks really.
Yeah.
I hate it. We'd have to do an awful lot of work covering the top up.
Yes.
Because it would bug us.
Yeah.
It might not bug other people, but it definitely would bug me.
Yeah. So.
And then also I was quite obsessively looking at some of the models, and the actual the scales weren't right.
Yes.
Sometimes the ring was too big or too small, and if you shrunk it or changed it, it didn't work.
It actually quite impacts the scenario. Like the interior ring is actually relatively large. It's like 12 inches. Plus you have a decent amount of gaming space. Like you can run up the stairs and stuff.
Yeah.
And a lot were basically like an 8-inch inner circle, and actually the whole end to end
Fit
is
on
only
a
about,
3D printer.
Yeah, the end is basically end to end is actually only about 12 inches, whereas I think widest point to widest point is 14 or 15 inches.
16 inches,
6 inches
at the widest point.
So actually, because someone who's good at maths is probably better, but like if you shrink it by that much, you lose a significant portion of the play area.
Yeah.
And then that's no fun to play on. It's pretty rubbish to film on. We're always kind of with an eye to what it will look like on camera. So basically, we were in a lucky position to be able to say, bite the bullet and say, let's get the 412-1. We were also...
it was several months of hobby purchase.
Several months
even
of hobby purchase,
split between the two.
Yeah. So yeah, for me, it was one of the original pieces, and I have a distinct memory of me and you sitting in class waiting for whatever you call the early morning registration start.
Yeah.
And we had a white dwarf looking at like the catalogue, and it was one of the listed things, and it seemed unimaginably unachievable.
And super cool.
And super cool. It was at the time the movie was coming out, and just being like, oh my God, this is the coolest thing. So obviously, part of it is being able to fulfill that childhood dream. So we were very lucky in being able to buy it. So you bought it, you brought it back. We're going to intercut footage that we filmed sort of as we went. So let's have a look at us unboxing the frankly ludicrous box.
It's a very silly set.
So here we are. This is a new addition to the channel. I think it's going to be a big old project. Something we've been putting off buying for a little while. But we thought we'd give you a little unboxing. So here we are. So this is fresh from the source?
Yeah, although they've said it's been on the shelves for a while.
Oh no. They didn't have to go back and get one from out back, did they?
Oh no, they did. And
I see.
I felt quite bad because it was a short lady who went and got it. And apparently it's on the top shelf.
Look at this. A sea of bubble wrap.
Yeah, this seems almost unnecessary.
There we go. Right. Oh my gosh. Straight away, there she is.
There we go.
That is giant.
It's huge. It's also remarkably flashless.
Amazing. I mean, let's just very quickly, if I come over here and grab a particular model, we have someone who, could be, focus.
Might need to be here.
Might need to be here. Give him a scale-wise. That is giant. That is amazing stuff. Break the seal. Let's lift her out.
Giant piece of resin.
Wowzers, that is... Look at that. That has been sanded, hasn't it?
They've sanded the bottom. There must have been the mother of all gates.
Yeah, Jesus. Probably threw away like a tank's worth of resin just on the flash. You can see, yeah, you're right. There's a
little bit there.
one of the little windows is full.
There's a few little bits around the edge. I think it's about 3 kilos of resin.
Right, okay, yeah, that's a pretty heavy brick.
That's a serious piece.
That's a serious piece. And then we have another box of goodies.
Box within the box.
And that's that, I think. That's that. So we've got another box here. All right, box number 2. Second box within a box. What do you think? What do you think we got in this one, Jules?
I think it's going to be more.
Wow. Look at that. Some good slicing action. And we have... Oh, a 412 bag. Interesting. Oh my, look. I can already see... Look at these gates.
Oh,
Jesus Christ. Well,
Yeah.
lift them out.
And we've got this that's always in every... I mean, if you need this, having bought this, then you're probably...
If you need to know how to deal with resin, having bought this.
And the massive instruction set.
Hey, that's actually pretty good, comparatively, compared to some of the older kits. Although I suppose this is an old kit. This is very old, isn't it? All right, let's bust out some of the pieces. I mean, some of these pieces are, on their own, absolutely huge. It's amazing.
And even this goes in the center, doesn't it?
Yep.
And
Again, we've got our Strider at Weathertop to compare, and just like the size of these, just fantastic though.
I mean, that's the height of a person.
Yeah. I mean, I know it's sort of lost in a lot of things, but like just the detail on the top of this piece, just first impressions, just absolutely amazing. And there we go. We set up some miniatures just to show the absolute scale of this thing. It is a beauty. Just every single little detail on it is just lovingly crafted. As you were saying, Jules, I think it is a refresh from the original, I don't know, 2001, 2002 sculpt.
I don't even think there was one back then. I mean, Forge World was just making a few things.
Yeah, there definitely was one a while ago, but either way, it's just gorgeous. I think it definitely, as you pointed out, it's going to take a while to wash and dry, just the basics of cleaning up the resin, but I think it's hopefully going to go together really well. So, I mean, there's a lot more project to do. This is quite literally just the start, but it's absolutely fantastic. So that was us unboxing the beast, and yeah, just getting out. We were sort of round here with one evening. What were your first impressions when we got it out of the box?
I think, I mean, for both of us, it's probably the single biggest piece of resin
I think so.
we've worked with. Prior to Middle Earth, we did do quite a bit of heresy, but never any of the big heresy bits.
I mean, I never owned a Titan or anything, but
no, I think Leviathan is probably the biggest either of us have done.
Spartan?
Oh, a Spartan. Oh yeah, I did a resin Spartan.
Even that's sort of only about that big, which is half of Weathertop, a third of it, and it's in a lot of different pieces, whereas the entire base of this is one solid piece, and then all the ruins, spoiler, we haven't stuck these down entirely, all the archways are
individual pieces. Yeah, I mean, in terms of complexity, the kit is really quite straightforward.
There's not any building to do, really. It's just a lot of sawing.
I mean, it's very funny just from the point of view of, obviously, I presume on the mould, the base is one mould, because when it comes out, I'm sure there'll be a shot of the bottom bit where you can just see where they've actually already cut a gate off. It must have been the mother of all gates.
They must pour it from the bottom, right? So it's kind of flipped, and they cast it from that way up, I presume. I can't remember.
And pull it out.
I'm not an expert on this sort of thing, but I presume they make them at a pace of one at a go. I can't imagine there's demand or need for making like multiple in parallel. I presume they
I don't know how many.
Maybe that's why it's off the store at the moment. Maybe the mould needs.
We might have got the last one. I don't know, who knows? And I do know, I'm pretty sure with the Weathertop model that there was two versions of it. There was an original version, and then there was a newer version that came out. But yeah, I mean, as a big, bloody great hunk of resin, it's pretty funny. And it was quite. Actually, just like manipulating the thing was quite hard work. I mean, if we go on to the building part, I'm sure you can see there's a bit of footage of us washing the entire model in the sink.
Because you're meant to wash resin models for the mold release. And there was a bit of, originally I think we were thinking, because it's all dry brushing effectively. There's not a huge complexity to the painting of it. So originally we were thinking, we'll get it done in a week or so. And actually, I think it was probably 3 or 4 months between buying it and actually having it finished.
I mean, we didn't really, we didn't have like a weekend. We did a lot of evenings.
Did a lot of evenings.
I think if we'd sat down and just bashed through it.
Oh, you could. I think it's more that we stopped and had to think about it, and then other stuff got in the way. We wanted to film other bits and bobs. But let's go over to, we've got some clips of us building the thing and how we felt about, or what we found building it, what, we went through in terms of process. Basically a lot of sawing.
Yeah, it's quite straightforward. Other than cleaning up the model, there's some big gates that you have to take off. But it's not complicated in the sense of funny little pieces or anything. It's just some bits that you plug in. I mean, this is one whole piece.
Nice and easy.
It just goes in. Several of them only fit in certain spots. So from that point of view, building it, relatively easy.
Hello, welcome back. I don't know how long it's been. It's a few weeks since our last update. We're here on a cold, wintry morning, and we're back with Weathertop. We're going to try and get everything prepped and assembled today. So our challenge is to figure out how to cut all these gates, these giant gates off the miniatures. So we've got the giant base plate over here, which pretty much is done. Don't think it needs much work. We've got a few tools. We've got the GW clippers, a little saw. Jules, you just managed to snip one off here, so we've made the first cut. So this sort of stair piece is off, but these larger bits, I think it'll take a little while. So we're going to try and see if we're going to bring in the big guns. I've got a Dremel and a sort of circular cutter. We're going to see if we can take the gates off these without destroying the model. Who knows? We'll see what happens. And yeah, we've got to cut all these bits out, clean them up, and then start gluing them in, I guess. It's a bit scary, but actually quite a simple build, really.
It's just a lot of resin.
A lot of resin. I think we'll have enough for a good few units left over from the gates after this. But it's fun. Right, we'll go to the time lapse.
Let's go.
That wasn't too bad, Jules. How do you find the sanding? How are your lungs?
Yeah, that's too bad. That's not too bad. We should have worn a mask more, but
But here we are. So this is mostly ready and prepped Weathertop. These giant ones
there's
were
some fine tuning to do, I'd say.
yeah.
But,
These giant ones, focus, were a real pain, but and they're still not entirely flush, but they mostly sit. I think the thing we're finding quite quickly is it is a bit of an older kit, and it's so big. There are just things that don't quite work. So this piece, for example, works great. Slots in there, and you can't tell even when it's just sitting there, kind of without glue or anything. It looks great. There's a little bit over here that also
that one works well.
Works pretty well. But then we got things like this piece. Which is several different bits.
2 bits.
That little top bit and that bit. When you put them together, they don't quite sit. There's kind of gaps.
So they're meant to sort of sit like that.
You can kind of see between the bricks a little bit. That one's not too
One
bad.
of them pushes the other one out of true.
This is another one where just sort of round here,
actually.
you can see quite a big gap. And a few of them were sitting much worse. But we've managed to, we're doing what we can. There's a big bit that should be just here that Jules has just dunked the whole thing in boiling water, and we're going to try and sort of bend it into shape because that really wasn't sitting well together. Who knows? How's it going with the hot water?
That's worked pretty well, actually.
Yeah.
There's a seam here, but this one was bending in, but now it's.
Yeah, that looks cool.
Now it's back, and so we put that in there, and that's pretty decent.
Yeah, that's
We've
not
got a
too
big
bad.
gap to fill there, but that's.
It's the whole thing again of if we magnetize it, we can't sort of gap fill with green stuff or
Well, you can,
liquid
but
putty.
just not as easily.
Not as easily. Whereas if we glue the whole thing together, then we can just sort of almost go back in and re-sculpt some detail or fill in some stuff. So who knows? But we're gonna carry on with the hot water. We've got our a nice drill here. We're going to do a few tests with magnetizing and see how we like it. If it doesn't work out too well, we'll probably skip it and glue the whole lot together. And if it works nicely, we will we'll probably magnetize a good amount. Got a little pot of various magnets here. So again, we'll probably cut back to the time lapse, and you will see us when this has either failed miserably or worked really well.
Slight change of plans. We had an attempt at doing some magnetization. I'm sure it will come off on the thing.
So we basically drilled some holes, sunk magnets in, and tried to attach this piece because this would be, we're basically thinking of this from a filming and a gaming and a storage point of view, but kind of, I don't know, probably in that order.
Probably.
Filming is most useful, and it'd be really great to be able to lift out a few of these pieces to get a camera shot of, presumably.
As you can see, I mean, you can get some cool shots when you're looking through to someone.
Yeah, it's very
But at the same time, it might be useful to be able to just get that bit closer.
See who's in combat.
See who's in combat.
So anyway, we were thinking perhaps this piece, but particularly this piece, we're going to try and take out and magnetize. Basically didn't work. I don't know if that's our skills, our magnets, or just the kind of fiddliness with the kit. We kind of drilled in with the sort of power drill, sunk the magnets, worked really well, but they just weren't quite fitting. So it just kind of sat. It was like just ever so slightly off true, which would really bug me, and I'm sure you guys at home. So sort of sitting a little bit like that instead of.
Yeah, it just wasn't quite lining up how it was made. I mean, we know that this building is a ruin, but when it doesn't quite line up how it's meant to line up,
it looks like a model of a ruin, a badly built model of a ruin rather than a ruin. There's a few, and you can see on this one is
if you can sort of see there, but like this,
a little bit.
We need to do some more fixing.
Yeah. So basically, we came down to the decision of should we just glue most things and then fill and then spray everything and paint it and everything, or try and pin things, or what? We're not quite sure still, but I think we've settled a lot more on this whole assembly over here is all quite intricate and connected, so this whole lot's probably going to get glued. We're going to leave it all off for spraying to start with, and probably the dry brushing steps so we can get brushes in places. But this whole thing's probably going to stay where it is. This piece is obviously separate, so that's going to stay out. Basically these big long sort of column bits are probably going to get stuck on at least lightly to game width, and this bit as well. But this small piece, and this one, we're probably going to try, maybe we'll pin them with some brass rod, or we'll just leave them loose and you won't be able to tell for filming, just so when we can have them in for when they're in shot, but when you come around this side and you don't want to have them in shot, you can lift them out. So that would be great. Not sure overall, but we're most of the way there. I think we've got most of the prep done. And we're on to the scary stage of deciding what we want to glue and then maybe spraying stuff.
Yeah, there it is. -2 outside.
It's -2 outside, which we'll try really hard not to ruin a 300 and something pound model, won't we?
So yeah, one of the things, I guess, fairly uniquely, if we weren't filming on this thing, I think we'd just glue everything down.
Yeah.
But because we chose to film it, we did stick. So this archway is stuck down.
That one's stuck. This bit comes loose.
This is stuck.
This comes loose.
That all comes loose. And there's a central piece. So obviously in the movie, this is actually where Frodo gets backed up against and then stabbed. And it's kind of off center, but it's a separate piece and it goes in the middle. And so we left it free because when we're filming stuff that isn't specifically the Weathertop scenario, it's nice to have a bit more of an open
thing. You can also use this somewhere else as a
for sure.
It's two kits in one. Really, I mean, it just sorts itself out. I never realised it has a cutout, so it's meant to go.
There you go. We're learning stuff already. Wow, yeah, it's got a step cutout.
It's meant to go against a step.
Live realization.
Don't know where it goes.
Something like that, yeah.
It's a puzzle.
It's a puzzle. This little piece here, we tried to magnetize, and we had a kind of abortive attempt of magnetizing all the pieces so they stay in place. They are quite annoying because you can knock them like that, and they go tumbling.
We may still magnetize them at some point.
We may glue a bit more of it, but for filming, we decided it was a lot easier to have a removable piece so you could go sort of, I'll take this out, and then I can put the camera quite low and get a really cool shot, and then put it back on.
And also, just from gameplay point of view.
Yep, yeah, for sure. So we didn't glue very much of it down, and then basically that meant the building was done. So yeah, into painting after building. The bigger step, I suppose, because there's a lot more to do for it. But we actually had our scheme already. We've got some we completed earlier. Here's some we made earlier. We got some Gondor ruins. You'd bought a tower a while ago, and so we tried those because technically, thematically, Arnor, Gondor, linked kingdoms, both Numenorian heritage. Maybe their stone comes out the same color. Obviously, that's not quite how stone works, but we thought it was a decent recipe to use for both. So we've got a tower, which this one we basically stopped earlier.
So
darker.
We followed the recipe, which you can find in the Quest of the Ringbearer book.
Yeah, it's the Weathertop Masterclass.
There is specifically a masterclass for the Weathertop model. It's a really nice scheme. It's actually super straightforward.
Yep, it's just dry brushing.
You know, you literally just dry brush. You start, I mean, you do black, but I mean, you start with dryad bark as just all over on all the stone, and then progress up through various different colours. Just dry brushing the whole way. I think this tower I did happily in an evening.
Oh yeah, easily.
We did other Osgiliath ruins.
Yes, for a game we played recently or a while ago now.
We modified it for the Osgiliath ruins because we actually made them a bit whiter.
Yes, we went a little step further and went a bit heavier on the end scheme. Because Osgiliath feels like a bit more of a white city. Weathertop, we stopped at sort of the beigey white, brown.
Yeah,
tones.
so I mean, in quick order, with progressively like lighter and lighter dry brush, it's dryad bark, Mornfang brown, Xandri dust, Rakarth flesh, and then pallid witch flesh as the final
really light touch.
highlight.
And we did find if between the tower, the ruins, and Weathertop, basically those middle 2 or 3, so particularly Xandri and Rakarth, if you don't go very hard with the Xandri and quite hard with the Rakarth, they come out quite, your middle tones basically come out quite one of those two. So the tower is a bit darker because I think we focused more on the Mornfang and the Xandri, and the other ones above it were lighter. Weathertop, we focused a bit more on Rakarth. I think Rakarth is probably the overwhelming tone in this. And then these, we went a bit heavier on the Rakarth and the Pallid Witch on the Osgiliath ruins. So it's variable. I think the Dryad is just it's not a dry brush, it's just a layer.
No, I mean, I think you can leave a bit of black in the recesses, but yeah, it's a pretty much a base coat with some shading left behind. But the whole thing, I mean, is actually really effective. It feels like sorcery because you end up with grey.
Yeah.
Despite the fact that there is no grey.
You use 2 browns, a sort of yellow, and some sort of beiges.
And it gives the effect of being sort of grey ruin. And we really love it. And we carried on doing sort of variations of the same thing.
Yes, in order we did the tower first, then we did Weathertop, then we did a bunch of Osgiliath ruins, didn't we?
Yeah.
So we spent a weekend, that we did do in a weekend, I think, pretty much.
Yeah, I mean, the painting part is it's very easy to do that. It's quite foolproof.
Yeah.
Weathertop mostly just presented a problem because it's just chunky, it's really big.
Yeah.
So it was 3 of us actually that we were doing the dry brush stages on, just holding the different pieces and sort of painting that up.
And we're back. It's another day, it's day 3, and she is primed. We took a break, Julian, and we got special guest of the channel. It's James.
Hello.
It's always fun. So we've primed everything. Luckily the weather held out, and at the moment we are in a massive batch painting spree. James is doing a very good job of enthusiastically basing everything with Dryad.
It's a mix of dryad bark and Fondia brown because we didn't have that much dryad bark.
Yeah, so we're doing it with GW paints. So all of the brickwork gets Dryad, and then it's a whole series of dry brushes going up from Mornfang to something else to something else.
Mornfang to Xandri to Rakarth to Pallid Witch Flesh.
Yeah, that sounds about right. And then this stone down here gets kind of Skaven Blight, and then goes up through the greys. And we got lots of little details. But yeah, it's coming together. It's very exciting.
Yeah, I think we were actually kind of lucky that we left the pieces off for filming, because if you'd stuck them all down during assembly, even so, there's some bits where stairs go down under a thing, and there's some corners. Actually, even getting a dry brush in them is actually really difficult. So if you glued all this down, I think
you make it very hard on yourself.
So if you do, I would recommend maybe keeping them separate and dry brushing, but with the slight caveat that maybe the last 1 or 2 stages, put them back on so that when you have a gap where 2 pieces meet, they aren't different tones. There isn't a sudden shift where the dry brushing looks different.
We kept matching it up just to, and you have
dry brush a bit, put it back on.
A single pillar.
Yeah.
Which you do that, and then you just kind of slot it back in and be like, does that work?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it sort of works.
Other painting, there's some rocks on the base. They're really, I think it's Skaven Blight Dinge and then Mechanicus and maybe Dawnstone. It's a really quick.
I think again it's the same. It's Skaven Blight Dinge and then Rakarth and then Pallid or something.
So it's 2 or 3 greys
with some sort of spot washing of Agrax and Nuln and what have you.
For sure. There's some modelled kind of greeny licheny bushes that are around the back. You can't really see, but either side of the statue, on this side here, in fact here you can see. So we've just painted them a green and then dry brushed them with a lighter green. And I think you had a kind of moss technical paint.
I think we used the Dirty Down moss paint to do a bit more on those. But yeah, those are just acrylic greens basically.
Yeah.
There's also, I don't think, we didn't put any sand on this. The sculpt itself
It's beautiful, yeah.
has like sand detail on it. Yeah, it's really nice.
It's where the, in the interior where the flagstones have kind of started breaking up and are given way to like the foundation. So there's really nice levels of texture. You've got the kind of the weathered stone flagstones and steps. You've got the pillars, but then you've got some bushes. You've got some rubble. You've got some stonework. You've got a little bit of sort of vegetation. So
cracks and things.
There's a lot of really good texture work to sort of bring out the different details.
And those, I think we just actually used some watered down kind of brown paint to kind of get some colour.
Yep.
And then later on we did actually use a few enamels to kind of do different spots on those.
Yeah, once we'd done all the painting, I think it was another day and another whole separate day.
We came back
a bit
and
later.
did weathering.
And then basically we got an enamel, I can't remember the brand, but it was an enamel.
I think they're AK ones, but
AK enamel dirt washes basically, and watered them out a little bit and just basically painted them. We didn't let them sort of flow into the cracks. We painted them into the recesses where there is a sort of 90-degree gap or an edge, and then into the top of the stonework. So where the roof is kind of collapsed, we painted a lot more of the enamel stuff. Which I think really works, and then also into the gaps in the flagstones. So it just really looked like dirt that's accreted or built up over the many, many hundreds of years. You know, it's meant to have been
thousands of years.
Thousands of years, yeah. You know, weather lashed and dirtied and broken down. And then finally, tufts. We just went mental with tufts, which is one of my favourite parts of the hobby.
And static grass.
And static grass, yeah. We actually put static grass around the edge, so so it blends a little bit with our board, but also there would be grass that grows up to the edge, and then tufts, bigger ones, right in the kind of recesses in the corners, and little ones just everywhere, basically growing between cracks in the flagstones, on the corners, on the steps up, just blooming loads of tufts, which is...
It just adds lots of life to it, I think.
You can't go wrong with tufts, honestly. Unless you're covering up everything you've painted, I don't think you've done enough.
Yeah, I think we have... I don't know if we said before on the channel, but, Gamers Grass, if you want to sponsor us, we'd be totally down. We love tufts.
I don't know how many tufts, Gamers Grass tufts I go through. And I've got a few GLE ones, I've got a few, I think, Army Painter ones. But the Gamers Grass ones are beautiful. Top tier. So that was... everything we kind of done the last bits in a spree, and we had Weathertop done. I think it's safe to say that once everything was done and we both kind of stepped back from it and had a look at it, it's one thing on a table, like on just on the table when we're painting it, but once we got the board out and we put the 4 pieces together with the hill in the middle and we put Weathertop on top of it for the first time, we were like, oh man, that was worth it. It was like a lot of... no, it wasn't a lot of work. It wasn't like a lot of stress and stuff. It was just something we had to kind of think about for a while and get through.
The painting part was quite easy. I think we and ahed about maybe seeing if we could do like a, when you see it in the movie, it's quite a uniquely shaped hill that it sits on.
It's kind of almost on like a bulb.
We would have liked to have done that, but it was quite a lot of work to work out actually how to mate those 2 bits together properly so it looked correct.
Yes.
So we gave up on that and we just put it on the Realm of Battle tiles where actually it fits really well.
It fits nicely. It's not quite thematic in terms of, or accurate to the books or the films. But for a gaming piece, it works really well. And if you did have it, it would be good for the quest scenarios if you had it up on a promontory away from the rest of the board. But actually for anything that isn't those 2 narrative scenarios...
It just means you wouldn't use it.
Useless, and you'd never see it on camera other than a couple of overview shots. So this works really well. It's still a relatively significant climb up for any models.
Yeah, I mean, I think we've played a few games around it, and most of the sides, you are clambering up pretty much.
It's at least 1, if not 2 climb checks. And it takes up a decent, up to probably coming up to a fifth to a quarter of the size of the board. So it's either something you can ignore and maybe fight around elsewhere, or depending on the scenario, you might have to sort of deal with it, which is It's just great. And when you've start piling your models on, it's really cool. So thematically, it's just fantastic. So we're very happy we're...
From a thematics point of view, I mean, if we go from a gaming point of view, there are issues with it in the sense of, obviously, it's pretty movie accurate. So there's quite a lot of steps which your models don't sit on nicely.
God, no. They balance and fall off here all the time. You can't actually get a model you can't get a 25mm base between any of these archways. I do remember looking back at a very old, I think the first book this appeared in, or maybe the very first Weathertop scenario that the narrative team put out 20 years ago now or something. It has a specific like designer's note to say, even though the 25mm bases can't fit through the archways, presume they can, because otherwise it's the four hobbits defending. Otherwise the hobbits will never get attacked because there's no way in apart from maybe one or two. The ring wraiths would have to sort of peer through.
But that is something that's actually been... I don't know when they addressed that in the rules.
Yeah, no, I don't.
But I think it's often missed by people. But as written, if you're moving only through terrain, you ignore the base and you have to agree/argue with your opponent whether the model will fit through or not.
Yeah. Not the base.
So, if it was a troll, they're not going to get through this gap.
Yeah.
If it's a ring wraith or a hobbit, they will squeeze through the gap.
Yeah.
If it's a guy on a horse, questionable.
Just be nice to your opponent and chill out and
But it also, I think we find it just improves it if you are easier going. I mean, you get to do some of the controlling the barriers, which is a really fun part. That doesn't come up that much in a lot of, especially in tournaments and things. A lot of terrain, it doesn't allow you to use those rules, which are really thematic and quite fun.
Yeah.
And also, like, it'd be really fun to do the fighting uphill on the stairs, or that would be great. But yeah, from a gaming point of view, yes, there are definitely better made gameplay terrain pieces out there.
Yes, there are some third-party ones that are designed specifically to allow easy play.
Yeah, there's a lot of cursing of trying to balance models, but the looks are just great.
You can't beat once you've got two forces, even if they're two completely thematically incorrect forces. It looks amazing when you put the models in there. So it's worth it. Basically, I think is the bottom line. It's worth it.
I mean, I think if that's our final thoughts, we are very happy with this.
Yep.
Obviously, it's a silly thing to buy.
Yeah.
It's going to sit on the bookshelves.
We'll get out as often as we
can.
That's
about it. We're going to play on it as much as possible. We've got 2 Quest of the Ringbearer scenarios.
Yes.
The first one is definitely already out. We don't know if the second one's going to be out. It's just going to depend on the editing.
Who knows,
But yeah, so that was well worth it. It does make playing the Ambush at Weathertop scenario actually quite fun. In the sense of like it, it's you'd think 4 hobbits versus like however many ring wraiths, 5 ring wraiths, is going to be like a wash. But actually, when you've got the terrain, you can play things quite cannily in it, and it really shows how granular the Middle Earth rule system can
very
be.
good point. Yeah. I mean, I think that's probably one of our scenarios we've played the most, just because a couple times when I've been over or whatever, and we've not wanted to do anything new, or we want to just like throw some dice and have a beer, we're like, do you want to play Weathertop? And we play it like 3 or 4 times in an evening and switch sides. So we've probably played that scenario the most out of any narrative scenario in the game.
Yeah.
And it is an uphill struggle for the Wraiths, but they've definitely won it a few times.
Yeah, it's possible to win.
Definitely. Especially because Witch King's got a Morgul Blade, stabby. And Frodo doesn't have a Mithril Coat.
No.
It's a good point. It's really worth it. But yeah, in closing up, I think if you haven't have a Weathertop that you haven't built yet, hopefully there's a few tips and tricks. I would 100% just recommend the Quest of the Ringbearer painting guide. Obviously, do whatever you fancy, but it was so for the effects that you got for the techniques needed was just dry brushing.
Yeah.
It's fantastic. Maybe don't glue everything down straight away.
No.
Take your time, maybe glue most of it down or half of it down. Unless you're moving it a lot for some reason, it's fine. It all balances and locks in pretty nicely. If you can't, obviously they're not on sale at the moment. Don't know about the future. If you don't happen to have access to one, which is fine, I think I would. If we didn't have access to this, I would go for the is it the Fellowship of the Ring Journey book from I think 2005?
Yeah, 2005 or 2006. There is a old Journey book. I think Battle Games of Middle Earth possibly also had one, but it has a really, a neatly sort of planned out template that you can photocopy or these days scan.
Well, yeah, and back in the day when they gave you templates on your in the book that you could scan and then use to cut foam, but it's a pretty good one. And if you went a little step further than what they have in the book and added a lot more like sand and rubble and rock and stuff, and then add tufts and things after you've painted it, I think you could get pretty close, like 70-80% of the way.
Well, and if you get some XPS foam and you texture it nicely, this same painting technique works quite well on that, because we actually did we have a ruined building that we did early on, which has quite a chunk of foam on it, and it works quite nicely for that.
For sure. So I would, if you're kind of jonesing for Weathertop after this video, and you don't have access to that, we would always recommend a sort of homebrew, good fun card and plasterboard and foam thing. Or 3D prints are great out there. If you happen to have access to all of the things you need for a 3D printer, go for it, and I'm sure it will come out brilliantly. If you do any of that after watching this video, please send us a picture, tag us and something. We'd love to see your versions of Weathertop. Maybe you could print a giant version. There's something to be said for something even bigger. It takes up half the board. It's sort of
24 inches wide
across, and the middle is actually pretty big, and you can have a couple wall bands duking it out. That'd be pretty cool. Please do let us know. Any final thoughts about this monster of a piece of resin that maybe we can actually put behind us now, for a bit anyway? We're kind of over the hump of Weathertop.
Oh, I think it's going to get involved everywhere. We'll get to Osgiliath and it will be there, just inexplicably.
Tuck it in the background,
it's the Dome of the Sun or whatever it's called.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I think it's it's a hilariously cool piece of terrain to own. And I'm very pleased that we put the effort in.
Yeah, it's great. Thank you very much for watching. Hopefully this has been of interest to you guys. Like I said, please do let us know if you do take any of these tips and do your own hobby projects, Weathertop or not. Tag us. What can people do if they want to follow us, Jules?
They can follow us on Instagram. Obviously, we've got a like and subscribe button on YouTube.
Somewhere here.
And we have, a Patreon, a coffee. Was it a coffee?
Ko-fi,
yeah. A thing.
I think.
Or just join us on Discord. It's free. Come and chat, hang out, show us some photos.
Yep. That'd be cool.
We'd love to have you.
Yeah, if you would like to join, get early access to any videos, some exclusive series coming up soon, merch, dice, mugs maybe. Yeah. Jump on the Patreon. There is a free tier where you can see all the stuff anyway, get some sneak peeks, so that's kind of cool. And yeah, we'll leave you with that. Thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.